All right, let's take a vote. Whoever thinks that just like in high school, when they're teaching you about blood alcohol content, after how many beers you have, your blood alcohol content goes up, that in college, they should teach you when your credit score drops, what sort of APR you'd qualify for. It's got my vote. And actually, I'm going to mention this next time Suffolk University calls me up asking for an alumni donation. Like, where the hell were you guys? Anyway, guys, I'm not some white guy that's had stellar credit ever since he was like 14 years old. It's not even like, dude, I'm Armenian, all right? We'll always have bad credit, even with like an 800 score. Like, IAN or YAN will always set off a red flag with Experian, okay? But yeah, but on a serious note, like I have been there. When I was working at BMW, they had to make like 4 different phone calls to finally get my application approved. So guys, I feel you. If your credit score is anything like mine was back in the day, which was like, I don't know, 7 years ago, I gotcha. I know exactly what you're going through. And I'm here to try and break down for you exactly what your bad credit score will do on a car lease and what's the best way, like what's the best workaround around this. So follow me. So the tough ones, Honda and BMW, super tough. Toyota and Mercedes, kind of mild, I would say. Chrysler, Jeep, maybe Hyundai, it's getting a little bit easier. Easiest, Volkswagen, Nissan, and Chevy. And what do I mean by all this? Besides actually having bad credit and falling under categories for which your APR is going to look like, they also have some stringent guidelines as to how they're going to approve you. As in, they don't just look at your credit score, but they look at your overall profile a lot harder. They look into delinquent car payments, or you've had a repossession, they'll automatically toss out the application. However, Volkswagen, Nissan, Chevy, they're a little bit easier on you. They're sort of like that cool uncle, if you will, of the car brands to try and get you approved on a car lease. However, they're still gonna charge you. Here's how much they're gonna charge you though. So before I dive right into how much extra they're gonna charge you, there's some important things that I need to tell you first on a car lease that you've gotta know as a primer before any of the stuff that I tell you gets explained on top. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Ari Janessian and I run a car buying service called Boston Automotive Consulting. We're New England's premier car brokerage and new car buying service. I make these videos for free to help new car buyers such as yourself make more informed decisions, and I try to be a little bit funny in these videos so that you can chuckle a little bit. All this car stuff probably hurts people's heads. Diving right in, any car lease that you do, for the most part, is being done under the manufacturer's bank. As in, Chevrolet has GM Financial Services, Nissan has Nissan Motor Acceptance Corporation, Mercedes-Benz has Mercedes-Benz Financial Services, and so on and so forth. There are some exceptions to this rule, especially with Chrysler. A lot of the leases that they do may actually go with third-party banks. That's partially why they're one of the easier ones to get approved on. However, for the most part, when you're going in and buying a car, it's not the same as going in and leasing a car. With buying a car, you have the option to shop around the APR or even bring in your own if you've got a special offer from your bank or credit union that's helping you out. However, on an auto lease, depending on what brand you go with, you may be forced into the rate that they're giving you. For people with perfect credit, they always start off as the tier 1 money factor, which is basically the best APR that they offer for people with perfect credit. Now, money factor on a lease is the APR on your lease. So those people with tier 1 credit, basically anything above a 720 FICO score, not Credit Karma, are qualifying for tier 1. They basically have like a scale, usually subtracting in increments of 20 from your credit score to give you the equivalent APR or money factor that they're going to be adding or increasing the base APR or money factor by. So typically anybody between a 680 to 720 credit score is going to fall within 1% of whatever the lowest available money factor or APR is. So let's say the lowest APR or money factor that's available on a Volkswagen Jetta lease is say 1% APR. So now let's say you dip down, instead of being at a 720, you're now at a 690. Now we're talking about 2% interest. You're at a 670, now we're talking about 2.75. And then things start getting really, really out of control. Almost like you're getting a little bit too drunk. Really, really starting to spiral out of control. And your gym teacher's suddenly giving you advice about what to do and who to call. Sorry. And now they're starting to double up on the interest rate as we're going down. You're pretty much in the danger zone of what the manufacturer's bank is going to charge you on top of the standard interest rate. If we've got our 1% as the lowest APR that's available, a 650 credit score is pretty much going to add 4% APR on top of that 1% APR. So say for example, if we were to take the actual language that's going to be used, if we're talking about a 0.0005 money factor, now we have to add 0.00165 to the original amount, which makes it 0.00170. So now that 1% became 5%. Say your credit score is actually a 625. Now we're adding about 5.75% interest to that original 1%. Say you're at 600. Now we're adding 7.25% APR to the original 1%. Guys, this is pretty much rough math that I'm dealing with. Volkswagen, Nissan, Chevy, they all have their very, very specific money factor additions that they have. They have it as a chart. However, they usually fall into this category. After dealing with these scenarios, I pretty much know it like the back of my hand. Get that checked out. Like the back of my hand. So guys, I hope that this video helped you in trying to understand exactly how your credit score affects a car lease. I know financing a car is more easily understandable because factoring that your bank can either give you an aggressive APR or you're part of a credit union that's offering you an aggressive APR. However, in this world of leasing, everything is phrased differently and there's no real transparency. I hope that this video shed some light and gave you some clarification as to what you're trying to accomplish. If you found this information useful, guys, and you want to see more real-world new car negotiation tips, please consider subscribing. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time.